Hello and welcome to this very special episode of You.Gov. You.Gov is all about you and the government. We focus on government functions and responsibilities, policies of government, democracy generally, and we also take a look at citizens' corresponding obligations. I am Itohan Olomu-Agbodo. We have a lot lined up for you this week, but first we're going to a quick break. We'll be right back. This week on EduBox, we are taking a look at the state of the nation. Recently, there have been series of protests in Nigeria, and the first of such recent protests was that of the Shiite movement. The Islamic movement in Nigeria, also known as Shiite, was proscribed as a terrorist group by the federal government, and the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered the arrest of the members and their leaders nationwide. He stated that the Shiites will be treated like terrorists and enemies of the state and prosecuted under the Terrorism Act, including anyone associated with them in any way that could advance their activities in the country. Their leader, Ibrahim El-Zazaki, who has been in detention for over 4 years, has been finally granted bail for medical reasons. More to come on the show.
Now on StarTimes Channel 465 is your #1 Christian and lifestyle channel, Love World Plus, meeting all your entertainment needs, trending, dedications, joyride, celebrity lounge, video tales, and so much more. For those of you who love current affairs, we've got you covered. News focus, strictly politics, the agenda, You.Gov, and so on. Be sure to always be in the know with our informative programs, as we also get you settled with amazing documentaries like A Day in Your Neighborhood, Discover Africa. These will blow your mind. The youths and kids are not left out, as we have created a platform for them to speak, learn, and have fun. And to crown it all, we serve fresh, hot, and sizzling foods to feed your spirit, soul, and body. That is Pastor's Programs. There's never a dull moment with us. So make it a date on Channel 465 as we take you on a smooth journey to cater to all your needs. Love World Plus, Channel 465 on StarTimes.
You're welcome back. If you just joined us, this is You.Gov, and this week we're taking a look at some happenings in Nigeria's political space. We've had a lot of protests, we've heard of proscription of the Shiites group, and a lot happening right now. But first of all, I want to go to the street to find out what Nigerians are saying about the proscription of Shiites group and generally their comments about what is happening in Nigeria. Take a listen.
The proscription of the Shiites group by the federal government and the Inspector General of Police recently is unlawful and unconstitutional, and it's undemocratic. The bane of all human conflicts on earth is lack of communication. Now, we all know that this Shiite group, they are all followers of the Islamic leader, El-Zazaki, who have been detained for close to 4 or 5 years now by the federal government in violation of so many court orders and rulings.
To me, I cannot totally agree with the federal government, but their conduct can let the federal government believe they are terrorists. I'm a Muslim, and I practice Muslim, but the way they are conducting their practice, they have gone to an extreme.
To the best of my knowledge, the Shiites are not terrorist organization, and they will never be. I'm not a member of the organization.
Quite interesting thoughts there from Nigerians on the street. They're saying the proscription of the Shites group was kind of hasty by the federal government, and it's kind of against democratic tenets. But before we go on to our discussion further this week, I want to take a look at some of the happenings, like the protests that occurred in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria, where the Revolution Now movement were stopped from actually protesting for a better governance and things like that. Let's take a look at some of the clips from that protest.
Mad. It's okay. Leave him. Leave him. One number. No worries. And you are right. Human rights say this. You will say it's not violent. They are not armed. I mean, it's bad. This one is worse than that one they did. It's the last violent one.
In every democracy, the citizens have a right to actually say what they feel, to protest. The right to protest is an integral part of every democracy. And all over the world, in different parts of the world right now, there are different protests going on. And the Revolutionary Movement, they're saying, we want free education, we want the minimum wage of 30,000 naira to be implemented, and we want better security in Nigeria. I don't think that is a very negative request to make, but people are saying the word revolution, it's negative and shouldn't have been used. But that's not our discussion this week. We're taking a look at the state of the nation, and we have a journalist and a public commentator, Victor Anya, standing by to talk about some of the issues happening now.
I'm not comfortable with that proscription order, in the sense that it is going to drive the child underground, and if that happens, the outcome may not be palatable. We should not forget the fact that the Boko Haram insurgents we are contending with started just like the way the Shiites movement is doing now. When in 2009, Mohammed Yusuf, the then leader of Boko Haram, was arrested by the army and handed over to the police, and he was killed in strange circumstances. And that was how the followers became so very antagonistic to the society. And from 2019 to today, according to the United Nations, about 27,000 civilians have been killed because their leader was killed in strange circumstances. I wouldn't want the case of the Shiites to follow the same line. So I think the federal government should dialogue with them, and their demand is not a strange one. They are saying that their leader, Ibrahim Zazaki, should be released for medication. As I've said in another platform, the federal government should use that as an alibi to release him to go for medication, so that the tension that has been built up can be doused. Because as I've said before, they are a group of people that have made it clear that they are prepared to die. And if you are fighting with people that are prepared to die, you that is fighting there, are you ready to die? The security agents, the police, the army, the navy, the air force, are they ready to die? So that is why the federal government should be very careful the way it handles the Shiite group. The proscription, as I've said earlier on, will push them into underground, and they begin to move underground. If they do that, it will be very difficult for the federal government to control them by the time they come to the surface. Proscription cannot stop the ideas of people. For instance, IPOB was proscribed, but in recent time, they organized a sit-at-home order, which a reasonable number of the people from the Southeast obeyed. So you can make pronouncement about proscription, but the idea behind what people are agitating for cannot be stopped by just a mere proscription. IPOB is still on ground. The people are still talking. They are still agitating, even though Nnamdi Kanu is not in the country. He's still issuing orders to his followers wherever he is. So proscription will rather make things worse than alleviating the situation. So I don't think proscription will solve the problem. And one question many Nigerians are asking is that why is the federal government so quick about proscribing IPOB and the Shiite, that the herdsmen that are be killing people all over the country, which the world, the United Nations and some other groups have described as the fourth most deadly group of persons. Why has the state government not been so swift in proscribing them? That is the question some Nigerians are asking, which I think that is a reasonable question, because if you compare and contrast the members of the Shiite and those of the herdsmen, you find out that the herdsmen are more deadly. I don't think the description of the herdsmen and the farmer clashes is right, because if you look at the two groups of persons, one is fully armed to the teeth with AK-47. The other ones are just mere peasant farmers that go to their farm with cutlasses and hoes. So you cannot say it is a clash. It is one invading the other. One group is fully armed, and they are using their arms to attack the farmers on their farm. So it is not a clash, it is evasion. The herdsmen are invading the farms of the farmers. That is what is causing the death. So they cannot be described as clashes. It is evasion. Then, if you look at the nations that are so deep in animal husbandry, you find out that Australia is the largest producer of herds all over the world. And if you go to that country, you will not see cattle settlement all across the country. They are limited to a certain portion of the country. So why should our own be in every local government area, as we are being told that the rural settlement that have been suspended will be? 30,000 acres of land will be given to a group of people all over the country. That is not how it is done in other countries. Even in Botswana, is a country of a population of 5 million with 300 million cattle. There are no cattle settlements all over the country. There are no ranches all over the country. These people have a route. They have a route, and the route is the northern part of the country. Ganduje has called them to come to Kano, that he has enough land for them there. Why have they not gone there? Why are they so much interested to be in every part of the country? That is why the demand for rural settlement and other demands are suspicious, because you have something somewhere, you have not even started, there is no single ranch in the entire north. The north has more land than the south. So why is it that they want land for rural settlement, for ranches and other things? So it's not going to solve the problem. They should rear their cattle there and process them. After all, we are importing rice. We don't grow much rice here. So if the South wants to get cattle, they can travel to that place, or they can process them and bring them down there to the South in refrigerated vehicles and put them in designated stores so that people can go there to buy. So to me, There's no any reason behind the intention to build ranches all over the country. It's not needed.
Quite interesting. That was Victor Anya talking about the prescription of the Shites group and the fact that putting them on the ground may actually lead to more issues. But we thank God that the federal government has heeded to the calls of some Nigerians, and the Kaduna State High Court has granted bail to El Zaki, the leader of the Shites group, and is proceeding on medical treatment in India at the moment. We want to go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
Love Work Plus website is your #1 trusted companion as we make sure we never leave you without a smile. Using a world-class design for an easier user experience across the world, we make sure that you get the freshest and latest news on our news platform. And on entertainment, we get you covered. Find out what's going on in the world of sports, as we are there to give you numbers. And with our social affairs shows, we keep you in the know. Enjoy the Word of God each day, as one word from God will change your life forever. We also give you an opportunity to communicate with us through prayers and through your partnership. It's a whole new experience with the Love World Plus website, as we help you create your own atmosphere everywhere you go. Love World Plus, taking you beyond television.
You're welcome back. We still have Victor Anya standing by to continue the discussion on the state of the nation. Take a listen.
But if I want to advise the government, the restructuring of this country or the devolution of power to the state is what we need now. For instance, the issue of security that is being controlled by the federal government is not going to help this country. Everybody wants to go to America. Why is it so? From the local government area, from the county down to the state, there are layers of security agency. Why is it that it is only in Nigeria that you have one structure? If there is a crisis in a state, the governor will call the commissioner. The commissioner have to take permission from the Inspector General of Police before he takes action. That cannot help us. So there is need for restructuring. Some people don't want to hear the word restructuring. So there is need for devolution of power. What do I mean by this? The state should operate independently the way it is obtainable in other federal structures like Canada, Australia, and even the almighty America, that everybody wants to go to spend holidays, everybody wants to go to get education. Let us emulate in totality. We borrowed our presidential system of government from America. We were running a parliamentary system of government before 1979, but since we decided to choose the American system of government or governance, let us copy them completely by taking their style of leadership, whereby the counties, the local government area, the states are independent. They control their resources, they control their security architecture, and pay taxes to the federal government. That is how all of them are operating independently. Why should our one be different? Right now, there is a bill submitted to the National Assembly by President Muhammadu Buhari, whereby ordinary water, ordinary stream will be controlled by the federal government. So if you are living in a riverine area, you want to set hook, you want to paddle canoe, you have to take permission. Why should that be? And that is the same thing that is happening today. The only functional port we have in Nigeria is the Apapa port. So they should allow the states to develop their ports, collect their own revenue, and pay taxes to the federal government. That is how a federal structure is run. What we have at the moment is not a federalism, it is pure unitary system, whereby everybody must take permission from the federal government and in Abuja, and that is why the states are not productive. It is not because the states are lazy, it is because of the structure we are running, whereby it is only the federal government that controls everything. If you have, as a governor, you have natural resources in your land, you cannot touch them. It is only the federal government that has the power to mine them. And that is why it looks as if the state governors are lazy. They are not lazy. I know some people will be quick to say that, why are the state governors not going into agriculture? And I ask, why is the same federal government not going into agriculture? Is the federal government not capable of going into agriculture? But they are so fixated about only oil money, oil money. So if the federal government is so much interested in oil money, why are some people against the state governors from about talking about oil money? So we need a true federal system of governance that will enable the states to be able to mine their resources and be independent.
Well, quite interesting, Victor. Anya going on and suggesting that Nigeria should be restructured. And he's talked about restructuring in the sense that powers should be devolved among the states and not having the full powers concentrated at the center. The federal government shouldn't have all the powers or most of the powers. We called for devolution of powers, called for constitution amendments. And that is what a lot of politicians, a lot of stakeholders are also calling for. We have some more tidbits for you. Well, quite interesting. That's the much we can take this week. I hope you're able to gain insights into some happenings in Nigeria at the moment. A lot of protests going on. People are calling for revolution, but a lot of people were against the word revolution. Even the federal government was against the word revolution. And Showore, the leader of that movement, is in incarceration at the moment, but a lot of protesters actually went on the streets, though they were stopped by the Nigeria police force. If you want updates, you can log on to our website on www.loverplus.tv. We also have numbers that will be showing on your screen now. You can send SMS to those numbers, and you can send your emails to info@loverplus.org. I'm Itohan Olomu-Agbodo. Bye for now.